Hey, Coach Candace here, and I'm going to do a series of topics, much of which came from a personal post that I did on my Facebook page where I kind of asked people what their challenge is when it comes to their own health and fitness. And I'm going to use a few videos to address some of those points. And one of those was ability to focus on the long-term goal. And I have done previous videos related to this topic, but maybe kind of addressed each of these points in a different way. But I'm just going to touch on this here today. So, right, focusing on that long-term goal, whatever it might be for you. Maybe when it comes to fitness, it's training towards a certain goal. Maybe when it comes to your health, it's achieving a certain weight loss or weight gain. So how can we focus on that here? And one, starting with the end in mind. Like, what is it that you want to be able to do at the end? Like, is it a particular lift, or to be able to run a certain distance, or when it comes to weight loss or weight gain, or again, improving your health in some way, where do you want to end up? And I always try to remind folks here, like, do something that your 80-year-old self would thank you for. So doing something today, whether it be, choosing to eat a little better, maybe to get out and, and enjoy some movement in some way, like, what will your 80-year-old self want you to have done today? Number two, break your bigger goal into smaller goals. So for example, like, sometimes people get overwhelmed with the thought of like, oh boy, like I want to lose 50 pounds. Like, don't focus on the 50-pound goal. Like, focus on your first 5 and repeat the process after that. Because many times, like, if you can iron out those processes that help you lose that first 5, whether it be like with like making better choices more often than not, maybe that means working out 3 days a week. Like, those little things really add up to be the big things that help you achieve that long-term goal. And actually, that brings to mind like a common phrase I often say to folks, in that little by little, a little becomes a lot. So don't focus on the end, focus on those little goals along the way. And number 3, like, identifying with your goal. Like, for example, think about whatever your goal might be, your long-term goal. How would someone with your long-term goal, like, how would they think, act, or believe in what they do every day? So, for example, hey, my long-term goal is to have lost 50 pounds. So, like, okay, how would, like, the me who's lost 50 pounds think, act, or behave? They probably, let's say, again, like, to go back to examples I gave previously, like someone like who's accomplished my long-term goal, like, they probably prepare their own food more often than not. The person who has achieved my goal probably doesn't eat out 3 to 4 days a week. The person who's accomplished my goal, they probably exercise regularly. So what kind of exercise program can I do and be consistent with? So aligning yourself with who that person is. So I would say, like, those are my top things I could think of, especially as it relates to health or fitness. But as a small business owner myself, or who has other like professional accomplishments, I could probably take this same framework and apply it to that, and that's also going to help you accomplish those long-term goals. But ultimately, yes, it is a challenge for folks, because it's easy to be excited and it's easy to be motivated when you sign up at first. But what keeps you going when that excitement wears off? And again, that's why I think about, like, doing something your 80-year-old self would thank you for, because again, like, habits and routine are what carry us through. And again, I often like go back to brushing your teeth. Like, yes, it's super exciting when you've got those fresh teeth, freshly clean teeth from the dentist, but how do you keep going after that's worn off? It's like, hey, I'm kind of motivated by the idea of keeping my teeth as long as possible. So, again, going with the end in mind. Or again, when it comes like into like, business or professional accomplishments, I've always thinking like, okay, I might have this big goal, but maybe it's getting through the next semester at school. Maybe it's working through like getting those next 5 clients. Like, I'm not focusing on where I want to be, but like, I mean, yes, I have a long-term goal in mind, but I'm starting with those smaller goals at the time. And again, ending with the long, and thinking about the end in mind here. And how would a, like, again, thinking about the world of business, like, okay, as a successful business owner, what would they do and how would they navigate different things? So yes, a lot of this stuff, like, I apply to health and fitness most often, but can probably be applied to any area of your life. And I hope you found that helpful. I will try to put in the comments or I want to say like in the, again, I'm not a professional YouTuber, but whatever, in the description, I'll try to put in those other links to those other videos that I believe you would also find helpful related to this topic. But by all means, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I hope you found that helpful.